In this video, I want to talk about intrinsic and extrinsic value priced into options. Intrinsic value, also known as real value, and I'll talk about real value later in the video, is very concrete. It's simply market price minus strike price for call options. Let's say the stock is at 150 and the call option strike is 145. The call option has 5 points of intrinsic value. This option is in the money. For put options, intrinsic value is strike price minus market price. Let's say the stock is at 150 and the put strike is 155. This put option has 5 points of intrinsic value and is also in the money. Extrinsic value is also known as time value, and the extrinsic value priced into the option is time value and the expected movement. There's extrinsic value priced into all options. Out of the money options are all extrinsic value. Let's say stock XYZ is at 150 and you buy the 155 strike call option. This call option is all extrinsic value. So let's say the stock stayed at 150 throughout the life of the contract. The option would expire worthless. At the money options are all extrinsic value and have the most extrinsic value of all options. If the stock is at 150 and you buy the 150 call option, this is the strike you will pay the highest extrinsic value. And remember, you bought the call option that is at the money. It is not in the money, which means there's no intrinsic value and also has no real value. So if the stock stayed at 150 throughout the life of the contract, the option will lose all of its value. So now you know what extrinsic value and intrinsic value are. Let's talk about in the money options. This is where option pricing gets a little bit more abstract. You're probably used to seeing examples where options are out of the money and have 30 days to reach a certain price, and it just seems like you're playing the lottery. Now, that's not quite how they work in the short term, and there are also options where time decay is less of a problem. This is for in the money options. In the money options have both extrinsic and intrinsic value priced in them. Let's say stock XYZ is at 150 and we buy the 145 call option. The price of the option may be around 6 points or $600. This includes 5 points of intrinsic value and 1 point of extrinsic value. That's the 150 market price minus the 145 strike price, which equals 5 points of intrinsic value. The option is priced at 6 points with 5 points of intrinsic value, leaving it with 1 point of extrinsic value priced into it. In the money options have real value or intrinsic value, and the intrinsic value priced into options does not decay. So I'm going to use the previous example and just give you a hypothetical scenario of what can happen. Let's say the stock stays at 150 by expiration. The option will only lose its extrinsic value of 1 point or $100. This call option will be priced around 5 points or $500 using this example. That's assuming you held it to the last day of expiration. In the money options can be confusing if you've only seen this a few times. I'm going to show you a screenshot of what this looks like from my Tastyworks account using the option chain from Apple stock. In the top left in red, you can see that Apple is trading at $174.93 being its last price. Now, I picked 30 days till expiration for this example. Don't get too caught up in the days till expiration, as that's not the main concept of this video. Let's just start with the call side. The call side is on the left. Remember, the strikes are in ascending order. So the out of the money options are going to be the lower strikes. The at the money strike is in the middle or the current market price, and the in the money strikes are higher up. The columns I chose are the last price on the left, then it goes EXT or extrinsic value, and then the bid and ask prices. Now each of these are constantly changing, but for this example, let's use the 170 strike. This is one strike in the money. So let's break down the math. The market price is $174.93 and the call strike is $170. So if you subtract those, we get $4.93 of intrinsic value. Now take the $3.37 of extrinsic value priced into the option and add on the $4.93 of intrinsic value, and that's how we get the $8.30 premium. Now, I know the math is a few cents off. Don't try to calculate options to the exact penny when you bid on them. There's just too many things happening at once. But if you bought the 170 call option and held it until expiration, the option would lose the $337 of extrinsic value, assuming Apple stayed at 174.93 the entire time. Now let's do the put side. The columns are the same as the call side. This time, the out of the money strikes are higher up and the in the money strikes are lower. Again, we're gonna go one strike in the money. So let's break down the math. You got the 180 put strike minus the 174.93 market price, and that gives you $5.07 of intrinsic value. Now you're going to take the $5.07 of intrinsic value and add on the $2.33 of extrinsic value, which gives you the premium of $7.37. And just like the call side, don't try to calculate the math to the exact penny. These numbers are constantly changing. But in a hypothetical scenario, if Apple traded at 174.93 throughout the life of the contract, the $2.33 of extrinsic value would decay out. So on the last day of the contract, the premium would have about $5.04 left in it. Guys, extrinsic value can be an abstract concept, so I hope this video helped clear up the concept a little bit. If you liked watching this video and you thought it was helpful, please click the like button and subscribe.